This is the virtual album retreat. What was awesome, it has a private Facebook group that you become a part of as soon as you purchase this. And then they have videos. There's 12 different live videos, one for each month. And what was cool is that you have the videos. You can literally just scrapbook your way through, or you could just watch the videos and then come back and scrapbook. But it also has this printout, the PDF that you can print out that has all the step-by-step instructions, and then it has visuals. Literally it's everything. But what's cool is the kit already came cut and prepped for you. So all the pieces and parts were cut and prepped, which is a little different than the kits that we have available, the scrapbooking kits. So it even had all the months that you just die cut out, and each month was in a separate envelope, and it had all the pieces and parts. I've got some extra things in here that I threw in here that I was working on. It even had the photo placement holders, and these are just extra pieces that I had after finishing it. So I will start, and I'm going to show you. Let me actually show you a few more things before I show you the pages. It also came with 4 stamp sets actually, that I ended up putting. They didn't come with the actual cases. It just came with the actual stamp sets themselves, and then it did come with this printed out insert. So I just threw them in the cases. In fact, if you purchase this kit, I will throw in these 2 cases for you, so that you have them to put it, to store together. So you can tell this has already been well loved. And the cool thing is once you're done with this, you'll have these stamp sets, and they can be used for so many things. I love that there's an alphabet set that can be used for card making and scrapbooking, home decor, just all kinds of things. So I love that. But they're showing you the names of them so that when you read them in the description, you'll know what they are. Again, has all the step-by-step instructions, but don't forget, you're going to have video that you'll have available forever. Once they're off of the Facebook Live, they're going to be on a private YouTube. So then they also have the images themselves of the pages as they laid them out. Now, when I started this, I didn't have my photos ready or done. I'm going to see if I can turn this light off, if that'll help. There, that gets rid of that glare. I just did the album, and then I went back and put the photos in. I highly suggest, if you do this, to kind of look at these and kind of see what the layouts look like, and get your photos ready before you start, because then it's going to be so much easier to make changes if you need to make changes for that. So let me backtrack and show you. Actually, I'll show you this. So this, for example, I'm just going to go through each of these pages. This was the layout that they had. Mine changed a little bit because of the photos that I had. So this one was, these were like little 3x4s, I believe, and I had these 4x6s that I had in here. So I chose January. That was the hardest thing, figuring out the photos. I chose 2024 instead of this year, 2025, because I wanted to have a completed album. And so I had so much fun just going back through these photos and remembering the fun, which is the whole thing about scrapbooking. We did some techniques, things I learned, and I've scrapbooked a long time ago, forever, and have done a lot, but I still learned some new techniques. And then some of the stamping techniques we brought in. So one of the things they do is we use these. So I highly suggest, if you don't have these burnishing brushes, that you get those, or you could use a sponge dauber or a sponge, but we would burnish to add some color to the backgrounds. And I don't know if you can see that, but there's some color that's added and some stamping. And then we learned how to do pockets. So I went ahead, and it also includes these page protectors. So they come in the kit as well. You'll have to, I apologize for the glare, but I already have them all in page protectors. We learned to make these pockets, and this page protector is actually cut so that I can pull the photos out. So these cute tags, look at this. This is my girlfriend's weekend that I just absolutely love. Look at that beautiful sunset, and then some spots for journaling. These cards could be used for photos or journaling or whatever you want to use them for. So that was January. Let's turn the page. Am I going to hit? Oh, might hit the camera there. So this was February. And this one I changed a little bit. I kind of, again, just because of the orientation in my photos. I actually didn't have a lot of photos like for February 2024. So what I chose to do, and I saw this because when you're in that Facebook group, everyone's posting all theirs, and I saw someone took theirs and they did black and white, which I loved. And so I have a compilation of photos. This was actually an image here that I had put up like on Instagram in February of 2024. And so I printed that out. And then I just went through, this was, my favorite Valentine, my husband. And so February Faves is what I titled it. And I just printed out a bunch of different photos that are some of my faves. This was our wedding. This was my graduation from seminary. This was a Stampin' Up cruise. This was actually a funny card that I had made for one of my kids. And then we learned how to do this here. There's a heart, and it opens up. So we actually cut the page protector in the shape of a heart. And so I've got that. That was when I did, we did some vow renewals when we were in Vegas and some journaling. So that was a lot of fun. This page I kept pretty much the same, and it actually worked out great because I was like, I don't know about that for March for these colors, but it worked great because I just did one event here. This was Easter, and what we were all wearing just worked with the colors, so I thought that was great. These were images that we stamped onto die cuts that were inside the kit. Again, they were all available. A lot of these were pieces and parts that were die cut, and then we stamped, and then we used that like burnishing brush again to add color. And so that's that. And then journaling. Just a lot of fun with that. Oh, and then this is one of my favorite things that I learned to do are these flip flaps. So when you have photos and you have more photos than you have room for, then we have these awesome flip flops that you can add. I'm going to show you a detail of them. Like this one, they have all different sizes. So we have 3x3s, 3x4s, 5x7s, 4x6s. But here's a close-up. I don't know if you can see that. But you can slide photos in or journaling. And then it has a self-adhesive on the back that you peel off and you can put down. And they teach you how to do that, how to put it on your page. But I love it because then you can add more photos. And they're still protected, which is great. Okay, so March, we're going to April. Okay, so I switched April and May. This is why it's good to like kind of look at your photos and see what you're doing ahead of time. Because for April, in 2024, we had that total eclipse of the sun. And this page where we did this cool, it was embossed resist. We sponged on it. I just had to use it for April. I had to use it for this eclipse page. So I switched those 2 months. Hey, and that's what's great because it's yours and you can do what you want. But I will show you, let me see, March. Let's go back. So I switched April and May. I think I said March and April, but I switched April and May. So here's what it was supposed to look like. But I did this. I actually moved these pieces to the outside. It just worked, I thought, better with my layout. And then again, I had to use these flip-flops. Hopefully you can see that. I know there's a glare. Even Forrest participated. Love that there's room for journaling. And then for May, pretty much kept the same. Again, photos were a little different. This one, or I'm sorry, May. Let's go back. April. I'm getting confusing myself. They just had 2 photos on their page, but I chose to highlight, at least on this half, Mother's Day that year. And then I had pictures with each of the kids, so I highlighted that. And then this side, I highlighted, we had traveled to Maryland, where I grew up, and got to see my siblings. So a trip back home to Maryland. And then underneath here is, again, we cut the page protector to fit around this banner so you could open it up. And then there's pictures of me with my siblings. We actually went home for my sister-in-law's 60th birthday party, so that was really fun. All right, May, let's go to June. June I pretty much kept the same as what they had, maybe a little different, but again, I took advantage. I added a lot more flip-flops. I used more flip-flops than what came with the kit because I had some on hand, and I suggest if you have lots of photos with the size of my family, it's just a great opportunity to add more photos. This side, this we kind of celebrated birthdays, and then here we celebrated Father's Day. So again, foot flaps for the win right there for all the photos. All right, July, I did switch out a little bit because the colors that they gave us for July, because Stampin' Up! Is a worldwide company, so global, so obviously other countries don't have like the celebration of 4th of July in red, white, and bloom, so they had blues and this black and then the yellow. And if you're in Ohio, I couldn't do blue and yellow, as you know. So I wanted to switch it for more of 4th of July. So I just took that yellow strip out and didn't use it. And I just cut a piece of my own cardstock and added in, and then changed the ink color too. And just made it a little more 4th of July. So this is all stuff from 4th of July, and then also my son's birthday that's in July. So that was so fun. And this was one of my favorite pages. I don't know if I'm saying that about every page, but this is one of my favorite spreads was August. Again, we did that Emboss Resist where we took that burnishing brushes, and it's like it's embossed and there's glossy and matte. And so when you burnish it, it attaches to the mat, and then you rub it off, and it's so pretty. So this was August, and I just love that this one gave you lots of opportunities for journaling. And I don't know if you can see it up close. It's kind of hard to tell, but there are strings that go from like this 1 over to this photo. This 2 goes over to here, 3 to here, 4 over to here, and 5 to here. So these journaling points correlate to what is happening in these photos. And so this one was just celebrating some birthdays in August. This was partly celebrating birthdays, and then my son sending us pics from the Olympics, which was really cool. My friend had a book reveal there, and our anniversary, and then just some more fun family photos. But I love these. I went a little crazy with the flip flaps. I think they only had a couple on this page, but I just love this. This was so fun to do. Okay, this is a crazy page. Oh, let me tell you. Let's see. There was August. I kept the layout pretty much the same. September, I also kept, it's pretty much the same, but there is something really cool. This explosion box, and I just think this is the coolest thing. Even this separate from a scrapbook page would be really cool. I do have, we cut the page protector so you could lift that up. I actually accidentally made a wrong cut here, and but I left it. It's good. It'll work. But this thing opens. It's so cool. Opens up, down. Then these open side to side. How cool is that? And then it's got a pocket up here that you can put photos or journaling. This was one photo in the example, but I had multiple photos. I put journaling over here. So little tags, and I have photos over here along with journaling on the back of each of those. I think in the sample that we did, they just had journaling over here. But how fun is this? I just thought this was so fun. And then we can close it back up. There you go, and it's all protected. And then this side, September, celebrating my baby's birthday. She turned 21 in 2024. October was, okay, so I totally changed October. All the instructions for that explosion page. So here's October. And it only had like 3 photos and then two photos over here. And I had a lot of photos because it was my 60th birthday, and my kids and my siblings surprised me. So I kind of changed this. I loved the idea of this, where, and these were included in the kit, but this circle that was 2-sided, like cardstock. And so I still use that concept here. But the rest of them, I just took the circles and laid them out, and then I punched out more circles and added to it just to make it flow. But that was a fun page. No flip-flaps here. Just laid them all out. Okay, and then November. I think November I kept pretty close. Yeah, I did. I kept pretty close to what they had. So here, again, we did that burnishing, and I don't know, you probably can't tell, but this is also emboss resist, and there's like some, there you can maybe see it. There's like leaves in the background. It was really pretty, really fun to do. And then I did do a flip flap here. I don't think there was one in the original. Maybe there was. I can't remember, but anyway, I did that. And then a little pocket here with a tag with some special journaling. So that's awesome. And then over here, I added a flip flap. We did charades, and then there was another couple pockets here. I love this idea of kind of having some things kind of hidden. And again, if you don't like your handwriting, I went ahead and used my handwriting, because if it's one thing I can say, like when I look back on my mom's stuff, I love to see her handwriting. But if you don't really want to do that, you could also just print that out on something, and that would be fine too. And then the last layout was December. Let's see. I'll get to December. I printed these out and then just kind of tied them together here so I could have reference. And I kept this one similar except over here. And I added flip-flaps. Of course I did, because it's Christmas and I could probably do pages and pages, probably a whole album of Christmas. This one was December, and I did a flip-flaps here of the kids putting their ornaments on the tree. Sorry, that glare is terrible. So that was fun. And I added a few extras that wasn't, this was like these, I made trees. I saw this again. It was in the group. Somebody did that, but we cut these banners, and so I used that to add. And then this side, it had pockets again, and in the pockets there, I put photos and journaling. And I actually put this in a flip flap. I just cut the adhesive part off. That way it's a little more protected. But had journaling and photos in here. We also had December birthdays, my husband. And one of his gifts, the kids had a ball with this right here. So there's just tons of fun photos with that. And that is it. I will say, like, this, I did order, and I don't have them in yet. We have 2 albums available. We have just the D-ring, and then we have this postbound. And they have these postbound expanders that you can put in here so that when you're turning these pages, trying not to hit my camera, that they lay flat like that. So once I get those, I'll put those in here. The other thing I did is I wanted to have cover page. So I just kind of went off of the design and the colors from January, and I added a cover page with some dies that I had. Used the same stamps, you know, did this banner that's like similar. These were die cut banners that were in the kit, but you can also stamp them and just fussy cut them, which is what I did. And then added this as my beginning, my cover page for the beginning. So anyway, that's my album. I have loved it. Anyway, this was so fun, you guys. And I know it's a bigger ticketed item. It's $250, but honestly, if you had to buy all these supplies, like I said, it includes all the pages, the page protectors. And the thing is they forgot one of the page protectors. So you'll get instead, so you're going to be 1 page protector short. They're going to give you a coupon code for $15. And you can buy protectors, or if you have protectors, you may not need to buy them, so you have that. The other thing you get too, because of the Stampin' reward, the customer rewards, you will get $25 in credit to spend on your next order. So keep that in mind as well. Let me go ahead and try to flip this around without losing you. Anyway, that was all I had for you today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And if you have any questions about anything that I shared with you, please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.